This is the first of many shows that we're going to be conducting nationwide to introduce and talk about our new technology. It's a new QNAP Thunderbolt NAS. So in essence, it's a NAS system with a built-in Thunderbolt technology. So we're going to be talking about today. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time today to stop by and visit us and joining us today in this event. My name is Hernan, and I will be your presenter today, this morning, and we're going to be talking about, again, the technology of the Thunderbolt and the QNAP and how it ties in and how it works within different environments and how it's going to help different people in different facets on making their lives and their work a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get started.
The products in the market that are utilized by creatives to store are block-based DAS systems, direct attached storage as we know them, and these are connected via USB 2.0, 3.0, and Thunderbolt. The challenges of today by using the DAS systems. The direct attached storage used today are USB external hard drives, RAID drives or RAID boxes, USB sticks. The challenges are, number one, the inability to share files. You have to physically move these drives in order to share them. So you have to basically disconnect them, take them where you're going to share them, and reconnect them. Number two, the inability to centralize these files. Okay, so you have multiple drives laying around and they're not organized. How do you know what's in them? Right? You have to label them. Inability to remote access. So you cannot access these files on the go or work on them remotely. Why use a NAS, a network attached storage system? Well, you have the ability to back up using real-time remote replication to another NAS, so you have a secondary copy. You can also utilize Time Machine within the QNAP NAS. Multiple Macs all in one place to back up and centralize the time machines. You can share files across multiple platforms. So if maybe one of creatives has a PC or a workstation or laptop, they can utilize the access these files and folders as well. Centralized files. You can synchronize, sort of like Dropbox, using the QNAP NAS. Remote access. You have the ability to access all your files using the mobile app web browser, and you can expand as you go as well. Why use Thunderbolt? Speed is the key. Common network speeds, as we know, we have the 10 gig Ethernet, which is fast. However, it is expensive. And as we know, the 1 gig that we use in our offices and home, it's, however, slower than a DAS system. So the transfer speeds are slow. Speed is key. So let's take a quick look at a snapshot of each of the connections and their relative speeds. So let's start with the USB 2. You can see here, not very fast at all. Especially when utilizing large files, large graphic files, and large multimedia files. This is probably not the best way to transfer. FireWire 800, as some of us still use and recall using, twice as fast as USB 2, but still doesn't get us there. It's frustrating, and especially when you're utilizing large files, having to wait for this for our files to transfer. The USB 3 came out a few years ago. Okay, a lot faster than FireWire. However, it still has limitations. Thunderbolt 1, again, and this is at 10 gigs, so it's pretty fast, but it's not as fast as Thunderbolt 2. And as you can see here, it's double the speed of Thunderbolt 1. Our solution, Thunderbolt NAS. It's a DAS plus a NAS solution all in one. It has Thunderbolt speeds, shareable across networks via SMB, AFP, FTP, NFS protocols, remote access, and expandable with our expansion units. And as you can see here below, we have the Thunderbolt NAS, the QNAP, plus additional expansion units, basically JBODs, to add more hard drives and more hard disk capacity. So let's take a look at the file-based DAS. Okay, plug and play without any complex settings, directly attached between a NAS and a PC or Mac. Access shared files via Thunderbolt connectivity. So here we have a Mac connected directly to the QNAP Thunderbolt TVS-871T. Why the Thunderbolt NAS? Faster transfer speeds, direct attach to your computer. Okay, so let's take a look at Macs. In the late 2013s and later, they had the Thunderbolt 2 connections. Mid 2011 to late 2012s was a Thunderbolt 1. Windows, yeah, there's some high-end Windows systems that do have the Thunderbolt 1 connection. Okay. More cost-effective. As we mentioned earlier, the 10 gig, great solution. However, it's a bit costly to set up. Well, you need the 10 gig switch, okay? You need a 10 gig router, then you need the connectors, and you need the modules, the cards for each of your units. So it does add up. Thunderbolt connection essentially is free. Why? Because it comes built in with your Mac, and it comes built in with your QNAP NAS. The TVS-871, available in two models. 8 hard drive NAS. It comes with an i5 16 gig, and it comes with an i7 16 gig. So depending on what you're doing and what your needs are, specific needs, you can pick either. And if you don't know the difference or you need help, feel free to contact us. We'll be happy to explain what the difference is, and we'll go over your specific needs, your scenarios, and we'll tell you exactly which one's the best for you. So now let's look at the specifications. What's inside of the system that makes it so unique and powerful? Let's look at the systems that we talked about. They come with an i5 16 gig quad-core Intel processor or an i7 16 gig quad-core Intel processor. So let's look at hardware encryption. Yes, it comes with hardware encryption. Memory, 16 gigs. Flash memory, 512 megs. Thunderbolt 2 ports, it comes with 2 of them. Hard drives, you can use 8 3.5 or 2.5 SATA drives or solid state drives. LAN ports, it actually has 6 of them. 4 of them are 1 gig, 2 of them are 10 gig. USB, in total there's 5. 3 of which are 3.0 and 2 of which are 2.0. PCIe slots. It comes with 2 of these card slots. They are being utilized by the Thunderbolt connectors. So let's look at a quick comparison. We're going to look at number 1, the QNAP NAS, the Thunderbolt NAS. Number 2, we're going to look at your typical DAS. The number 3 is your typical NAS system. So let's look at performance. The QNAP Thunderbolt NAS has Thunderbolt speeds, and it has a built-in dual 10 gig connector. The DAS system only has Thunderbolt. The typical NAS only has Ethernet, which is 1 gig. Remote access. With a Thunderbolt NAS, you can remote anywhere from the world into your NAS. The direct attached storage, you cannot. It sits on the edge of your system, so you cannot access it. With the typical NAS, yes, you can. It's inherent of them. That's what they're built for. File sharing. With a Thunderbolt NAS, you can file share. With the DAS, you cannot. And with a typical NAS, you can. RAID technology. With the Thunderbolt NAS, you can. With the DAS, some systems you can, and some you cannot. With the typical NAS, yes, you can. Mobile access. With the NAS, yes, you can access your files, all your media content via your mobile systems. With the DAS, you cannot. Again, it's not on the network. It's on the outside of the network sitting connected to your system. On a typical NAS, yes, you can. So how does it work? Well, it's IP over Thunderbolt. It's been a couple years in the making. We've perfected it, and this is what we have now. Thunderbolt 2, the cable can run all network services, including FTP file sharing, and that's over the Thunderbolt. But if that's not enough, you can utilize the two Thunderbolt 2 ports, the two 10 gig ports, or the four 1 gig Ethernet ports. And mind, the four 1 gig Ethernet ports, those can be used for port trunking, and they can be used for redundancy and different types of configuration, network configurations. Here below, you can see the Thunderbolt NAS, okay, connected over the Ethernet, which is on a 10 gig switch. Challenges of creatives. I don't have to tell you, gentlemen, as photographers, post-production, film editors, and creators and directors, I don't have to tell you what the challenges are, but let's take a look at it. Multiple external hard drives laying around when you're a photographer. A lot of hard drives. I've seen it myself when I visit customers. They show me all their hard drives and say, Hernan, what am I going to do with all these hard drives? Hard to find media content, pictures. How are we going to find it? How do we access them? I got a hard drive. I got to find this stuff. Challenges, right? Post-production. Time-consuming when sharing files. It's crucial when you have a deadline to create content and get it to your customer as soon as possible. Okay? Sometimes transferring this information, this data, takes some time, and this time adds up if you do it enough. Rendering time, okay, file sharing time, transferring data time, all that adds up. 1 day, 2 days, in a year, it all adds up, and time is money. So large files, like I mentioned, require lots of storage. So let's look at film. Multiple outings for shootings. Filming required on the go. And what are you stuck with? Using multiple hard drives, external hard drives. This QNAP is small enough to mount on your truck and take it with you. Advertising. Art directors have to work with Thunderbolt speeds, but still have challenges to share quickly with creative directors and clients. Again, the collaboration is a bottleneck. So here's an example of a workflow of photographers. And as we know, you take the picture, okay? Then the picture is copied onto the SD card. You get the SD card, you save it onto an external hard drive, and the external hard drive, you edit it onto your, utilizing your Mac system. Okay? And then from there, you can share it via, a cloud service. So what are these challenges? What are we facing? Well, first of all, you may end up with a bunch of hard drives. Second, what happens if the external hard drive fails? Is there RAID redundancy? Was there a backup made in between the camera, the Mac? You have a lot of copies everywhere, sometimes duplicates, sometimes triplicates. Can you collaborate? How can you share this? Here's the QNAP Thunderbolt NAS workflow. Okay, as you can see, some steps were eliminated, and some key steps where there's less points of failure. Okay, so look at the photo shoot, right? The camera. Then from the camera, we extract the raw data straight onto the QNAP. From the QNAP, you can make a copy. You can send that copy up to the cloud service, whether it's Amazon or Google, or, directly from the QNAP. Remember, the hard drives are in RAID as well. So you have that protection as well. One disk fails, you can replace it. It's hot swappable without having to compromise or change or move any of your data. Okay? And from there, you connect directly onto your Mac. Okay? And all the editing, all the saving, all the files, the libraries are stored onto the QNAP itself. So now you don't have to utilize all the disk space on your Mac. It runs smoother, it's lighter, and it works a lot better. You can share, okay? You can share the links, your links, directly from within the QNAP, so your customer can download proofs. Okay? You can collaborate within a network and have other systems, whether they're Macs or PCs, connected on to the same QNAP system via the network connection. You can connect to other ports and other systems utilizing the Thunderbolt connectivity as well. Dual Thunderbolt ports. Why is this important? Why is there two? Let's talk about that. Okay, so let's take a look at number one. Two workstations can connect directly and edit via the Thunderbolt. So now you have two creatives working together onto one QNAP NAS, creating and saving and storing onto the QNAP. Number two, you can share and access the files within the network. As I mentioned, collaboration is key, okay? Especially in post-production, in touching things up. Okay? Now you can do this within one system, the QNAP system. As I mentioned, the growth, the ability to expand is important. Whether you get more customers or whether the project itself is large, now you can expand. The TVS-871T can expand. And as you can see here, up to 6 expansion units. That'll give you a total of 448 terabytes of raw capacity, of raw storage for you to be able to store whatever you want. You can store it, collaborate, continue to create all that storage. Ideal for design for file sharing. Again, collaboration within an organization. You can share amongst various Mac users to a final complete product. It also has the highest cost performance ratio of all high-speed solutions for Mac users. Why? Because they all come with Thunderbolt. The Macs come with Thunderbolt, and the QNAP comes with Thunderbolt. Super fast transmission, and as I mentioned, cross-platform file sharing. Being able to use it on a Mac, being able to use it on a PC. You don't have to buy it as separate QNAP NAS for that. You can utilize the same one. Enormous expansion capabilities. As I mentioned, being able to grow. As your projects grow, as your customer base grows, you will grow. Your QNAP will grow. Collaboration. Application scenario. So we have two Macs or two PCs video editing onto the same NAS. High-speed transmission between two Macs or PCs and the QNAP NAS. You don't have to transfer the file that you're working on, right? It's actually sitting at its destination point. You can edit it, you can render it. The next person can edit and render and save and share and continue to collaborate. Supported video editing software. The industry standard for creatives. Final Cut Pro. Premiere Pro. Let's look at the 4 ways to connect to the QNAP Thunderbolt NAS. The first one would be the TVS-871T and a Mac and a JBOD. The next would be the TVS-871T to a Mac and to a NAS. Next is the TVS-871T to a Mac and then to another Mac. TVS-871T to an expansion unit and then to another expansion unit, up to 6 of them. So we have 4 different ways of connecting to the QNAP Thunderbolt NAS. Summary of our presentation. Okay, we're going to talk about 2, 3, 4. 2, networking technologies, each with dedicated bandwidth. Thunderbolt 2 networking and Ethernet. 3, storage technologies: DAS, NAS, iSCSI-SAN, all in one. Four ways to connect: Mac, Windows, Linux, cross-platform sharing. The highest cost-performance ratio of all storage solutions for Mac users and video post-production. On top of all this, it comes with a built-in QTS, the QNAP operating system, with all its features and all its functions. It comes included with the QNAP Thunderbolt NAS. So thank you. This is the end of our presentation of the new QNAP Thunderbolt NAS. I want to thank everyone for sitting in on this presentation. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. You can always reach us via email at usasales@qnap.com, or you can always stop by our website, www.qnap.com. It always has a lot of information, a lot of useful stuff. There's case studies. We have a blog as well. Again, on behalf of QNAP, my name is Hernan. I want to thank everyone for attending today's training, and have a very, very good day.